Hello everyone and welcome back to another True Unscripted Puro video. Today we have another episode of the Rising Sun Renaissance, as today we have Night 9 of the G1 Climax. If you missed last episode, you missed A block action, but tonight we have B block action as your block matches for tonight. You have Callum Newman taking on Gabe Kidd, Shota Umino taking on Henare, Ren Narita taking on Zack Sabre Jr., Yuya Uemura taking on Aaron Wolf, and Drilla Moloney taking on Oscar. The only note I have from in between episodes is that Stardom has adopted a friendly attitude with New Japan. I know, nothing crazy. But before we can get into the show, we gotta prepare. So, select venue location. We are going Shikoku and the Takamatsu City General Gymnasium. We're not expecting a lot of fans tonight, but oh well. Select venue, locker room incidents. Headman trainer Junji Harada ran pre-show training drills to work on basics and safety for 9 students. I know there's a lot more names than usual. I'll talk about it in a little bit. Chris Charlton was brought before the wrestler's court, accused of not joining the rest of the locker room for a night out. The judge, Yuji Nagata, found him guilty and sentenced him to buy drinks for everyone after the show. Had a small positive impact upon Chris Charlton. Jushin Thunder Liger has been passing on tips on using psychology to his protege Daikin Nagai, and that is all. I'm gonna pull a rib on Callum Newman. I want to see if it'll help his morale. Damn it! Okay. Oh well. Absent workers, Jake Boston Young. I'm gonna get on to pre-booking Night 9 of the G1 Climax, and I'll be right back. And on to Night 9 of the G1 Climax. We start the show off with New Japan President Hiroshi Tanahashi coming down to the ring. Tanahashi grabs a microphone and thanks everyone in attendance for coming tonight. Tanahashi says that this has been an amazing G1 Climax so far, and we are only halfway through. Tanahashi says that before we can get into any action tonight, he has some huge news regarding the future of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Tanahashi requests the young lions around ringside to enter the ring. Tanahashi says that with New Japan's amazing partnerships with other Japanese promotions, he has been able to get 4 new young lions who have officially transferred to the Noke Dojo. Those young lions are Hiroya Ariwara, who has transferred from the 01 Dojo, Kokan Tachibana, who transferred from the Tiger Gym, cousin of Seigo Tachibana. Marcel Schneider, this is actually the only non-Japanese young lion. He is transferred from the WXW Wrestling Academy. And last but certainly not least, Yoshikazu Komori, who transferred from the Dragon Gate Dojo. Tanahashi welcomes the 4 new young lions to New Japan and says that their first match as New Japan Young Lions will be tomorrow. That's right. Just announced tomorrow on the pre-show. You have Kokan Tachibana and Marcel Schneider taking on Hiroya Ariwara and Yoshikazu Komori. Very excited to see how that match will play out and how they perform in their first match. I don't know if they've been used yet. Recap gimmick changes. Ariwara received an initial rating of great. He has a ton of penalties. Tachibana received an initial rating of great. Not suitable to be used by face. Yeah, he is a heel. Marketable gimmick. Okay. Marcel Schneider received an initial rating of great. Gives a small boost to charisma during matches and angles. And a ton of penalties. Actually, let's see. Penalties for Ariwara: losing to comedy gimmicks, losing to gimmicky gimmicks, penalized for being used in lengthy matches and angles, and then penalized for being a part of comedy bouts and used as comic relief. Okay. So, the only major thing for me, he can't be used in lengthy matches, but that's okay. He's developing. Tachibana, good. Marshall Snyder will be penalized for losing to comedy gimmicks, gimmicky gimmicks, underdog gimmicks, penalized for taking part in comedy bouts and being used as comic relief. Okay. And then last but certainly not least, Yoshikazu Komori. He will be penalized for losing to comedy gimmicks, gimmicky gimmicks, and then comedy bouts, comic relief. Okay. 78 rating, love to see it. But on to your action for tonight, as in your opening match, Sonata and a Dick Togo defeat Oleg Bullen and Tatsuya Matsumoto in a decent match when Sonata pinned Tatsuya Matsumoto. Matsumoto was a weak link doing a 25, not too bad. 59 rating. Then onto your next match as Shingo Takagi and Shun Skywalker defeat Great Khan and Saint J in a decent match. Saint J was the weak link doing a 32, not too bad. Then in your next match, Jake Lee and Francesco Akira defeat Yuto Ice and Daiken Agai in a decent match. Yuto Ice unsurprisingly carried the match in terms of in-ring performance. 73, love to see it. Then in your next match, Ryuhei Oiwa and Hartley Jackson defeat Yota Tsuji and Taiji Ishimori in a decent match. 71 rating, love to see it. Tsuji with a 70, Oiwa with the 63. On to your last preliminary tag match for the evening as Bishamon defeats Konosuke Takeshita and Taisen Nakahara in a decent match. Konosuke Takeshita was head and shoulders above everyone else, doing an 81. Nakahara was the weak link, doing a 26. Goto with the 70, love to see it. Would have liked them to have done a little better, but not gonna complain. On to block matches for the night, as in your first block match, Yuya Uemura defeats Aaron Wolf in a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling, 69 rating. Uemura seemed off his game with a 59. But with this win, unless something drastic happens, Yuya is the only person in the entire tournament at this point who is undefeated with 10 points. So, he is most likely going to the playoffs. One more win and he's confirmed, but at this point, it's highly likely that he's going to the playoffs. So, huge for Yuya, but the same can't be said for Aaron Wolf, as he only has 2 points, and with 4 losses, one more loss, and he's out of contention, and his next match is against Drilla Molyneux. Okay. But on to your next match as Oscar defeats Drilla Molyneux in a decent match. 59 rating. Drilla and Oscar didn't seem to click at all, and it made for an awkward bout. So, Oscar now with 4 points. Drilla still with 4 points. As planned, this match brought the fans back down a little. You'll see why. As in your next match, Zack Sabre Jr. defeats Ren Narita in a good technical masterclass. 73 rating. CSJ now with 4 points. Ren Narita still with 6. But in your co-main event, Shota Umino defeats Henare in a wild brawl that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. 71 rating, love to see it. But in your main event, Callum Newman defeats Gabe Kidd in a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling. 62 rating, not too bad. Finished the show with a 71 overall rating. Surprisingly not 73. Saint J was slightly overused, and as always, we will have gained popularity basically everywhere, but we were restricted. Finished the show, financial report, just over 40K. And that is all. So, B-block standings at the top of the block with 10 points, Yuya Uemura. Then, tied in second place, you have Ren Narita, Shota Umino, and Gabe Kidd. Then, tied in fifth place, you have Drilla Malini, Zack Sabre Jr., Callum Newman, Oscar, and Henare. And then at the bottom of the block, you have Aaron Wolf. Looking ahead to next episode, you have A-block action as Hiroki Goto takes on Konosuke Takeshita, Yota Tsuji takes on Ryuhei Oiwa, Jake Lee takes on Yuto Ice, Shingo Takagi takes on Great Khan, and Oleg Bolin takes on Sonata. Also in the pre-show, as I mentioned before, Kokan Tachibana and Marcel Schneider takes on Hirya Ariwara and Yoshikazu Komori. That's going to be it for today's episode of the Rising Sun Renaissance. I've been True Unscripted Puro, and I'll see you all next time.